All right, so hey, we're back for Coach's Show Year 3. We couldn't get to the Coach's Show last week. We're all really busy people, so we're gonna make up for it this week. I got John O back. Thank you for coming back this year. Like I said last year, he's the only part of this that makes this any kind of credible, so we really appreciate that. Coach Chambers, I can't believe it's year 3 already. It seems like yesterday I was begging you to do this and surprised that you wanted to do this. So glad to have you back. Appreciate you taking the time to do this. So we'll try to get caught up. We got 2 weeks of stuff to talk about here. I wanted to start out last week with this, and I'll just start out with it this week. Talk about your coaching staff.
Okay, we got Dakota Suttles. This is his 3rd year as well on staff, and he'll be coaching the special teams for the senior high. He's a head junior high coach, and then Coach Shelby is our defensive coordinator for both junior high and senior high teams.
Now Suttles, I know him. You know, I kind of like the guy. But this Shelby guy's kind of growing on me. You know, I told you guys, when they come, I don't pay too much attention to them until year 2, you know, when they stick around. So he's sticking around, and seems like they're both doing a really good job for us.
Absolutely.
So let's move on and talk a little bit about the team. I know one of the things that occurred to me when I was kind of prepping for this was this is year 4 for you. Is that right? Year 4 head coaching? Mm-hmm. And this is your 4th different starting quarterback. So that kind of stood out to me. I know that you know, this year's playing quarterback's not new to him. Right. It's something that he's done. But take us from the center position and just kind of talk us through the team so people can get familiar with who's where.
So our entire offensive line was actually their first senior high snaps, except one last Friday night.
Wow. We
have Michael Stanley starting at center, and she missed all year last year with a broken arm. So he didn't play any senior high ball. Zane Allen started at left guard. Same thing, missed all last year with a broken arm.
I remember that now.
We have Dakota Clark, a freshman, starting at left tackle. Troy Carey moved in. Roy Carey's son moved in from Ozark last year at the end of the season, and starting at right guard. And then Bryson Smith, he's the only one that's had significant senior high snaps. Got him at the end of last year. But he's a sophomore as well, starting at right tackle.
Got to jump in. Bryson Smith, sort of gotten to know him a little bit in the last 2 weeks. You know, we went to the volleyball game and was sitting next to him, and the student section was on the other end.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, he brought a whole student section just with himself. But he seems like a really high energy guy, and you like to see that out of football players.
Always. We in practice we typically have to slow him down. We don't ever have to speed him up. That's
good,
for sure.
Good. Love to hear it. Going to get into talking about Mansfield just a little bit. I'm going to switch over to John O here and let him work us through Mansfield.
Always a big rivalry game. You guys getting the year started off, and kind of where your thoughts coming out of that way. A lot of improvements are seen from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah.
What are some things that you looked at after Friday night and saying we did well? What are some things that you looked at and said, and these are some areas we can probably shore up a little bit?
Yeah. So with us, you know, lower numbers. I mean, we had 24 on the sidelines, which is good, but it's hard for us to replicate much in practice, physicality-wise. You know, we got, like I said, we got a lot of guys that hadn't played senior high football before. Kids are bigger, faster, and stronger in senior high than they are in junior high. And we struggle with the physicality. You know, they come right downhill at us, a little bit different than Mansfield's been in the past with a Boonville guy there. And so we struggle with the physicality a little bit. Hopefully, though, we'll be more ready for that this Friday night.
Some of the things we talked about during the broadcast a little bit, you mentioned the physicality, is you may not see the caliber of at least the 2 inside tackles they had. You may not see that type of caliber once you get to conference play.
I hope not. I hope not, because they had some really good physical, athletic big guys. Sometimes you get big guys, sometimes you get smaller athletic guys on the D-line, but it's rare you get those guys that are big, physical, and athletic. And, you know, they were athletic all over the field. Every single position could move.
Walking away from Friday night, though, I mean, once I left and kind of made the drive home, thinking in the back of my mind a little bit, I thought, there's a lot of things that I saw from the broadcast perspective and a fan, that thinking in my mind that another week or two, boy, this is going to be something that's going to really click. And offensively, I think you've got so many weapons in the backfield, and you were able to present so many different looks. I think that's probably one of the big things I think with time should be able to come together and make for a good package.
Yeah. So we tried to stay pretty vanilla with our offense. Going into Mansfield week, you want to win every game, but we wanted to stay pretty vanilla and not show anything too early in our non-conference games. So we'll show some more stuff and utilize those guys that we have that are athletes in the backfield. One thing I was really happy with though Friday night was we didn't have trouble getting in and out of the huddle. And that's definitely with young guys like we've got right now. I mean, we're young all over the field. I think we only have 2 seniors starting right now. A lot of times you have a hard time getting out of the huddle. A lot of penalties. Okay, but we had very little penalties. Okay, didn't have any delay of games. Got on the ball, got where we were supposed to. Now, did we execute every play? No, but we got in and out of the huddle like I wanted. Got to the line, could run the plays, and just struggle with execution.
You mentioned that, and especially early, those can turn into the big things very, very quickly. And I don't know that we're maybe a handful of penalties at best between both teams. And considering the whole circumstance with the time being moved back, the weather being a little bit of a factor, it could have lent itself to a lot of things. And I thought you guys showed a lot of composure that they kind of took care of business the best they could.
Yeah. They come out and gave everything they had. We didn't have a lot of guys. I preached all summer because I knew coming into the season would be a little low, at certain positions. Preach toughness and accountability all summer, and I think they showed that on Friday night.
Yeah, you did show.
Coach, we come back after Friday night. We end up playing a junior high football game Monday night. So I want to talk just a little bit, give you a chance to mention anything you want to say about the junior high game. We did come away with a win against Mansfield.
Yeah, so our 7th, 8th, and 9th graders are playing in those games. It's time for us to get reps. Obviously, we're out there trying to win as well, but it's a good time to get reps for us. It's the same thing in junior high as it is senior high. Lower numbers, so it's hard to replicate things in practice. So these are high quality reps that we're getting, and played really well. We got some 7th and 8th graders that can play.
Yeah,
they played really well, and sprinkling those 9th graders, they got a decent team out there.
Yeah, no doubt. I did want to. I kind of got ahead of myself. Injury department. How did we come away Friday night as far as that goes?
So Colton McCubbin, one of our top players, banged up his knee a little bit. He was out there today. Walked through stuff. He's not doing anything full speed right now. He will not be back this Friday. And then we had a concussion as well last Friday night, Keith Corbett. And but he started concussion protocol today. Everything's good, so he should be back next week.
How did the heat affect you guys? I didn't mention this, but the game got moved back to 8 o'clock, and from the booth, things seemed to go pretty good. You guys feel pretty good down on the field?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it wasn't too bad. Honestly, I was pretty worried about the heat for a long time, but we conditioned well during the summer and our fall camp, and we didn't have anybody really. I think Chacon cramped up right at the end of the game, and maybe had one more that kind of cramped up after the game. But other than that, it really didn't affect us.
Gotcha. That's always good to hear. So we're going to move ahead, talk about Lavaca. It's Lavaca week right now. That's who we're getting ready to play this Friday night. Series-wise, I pulled that. The series is 2-6 right now. So we're on the wrong side of that. Hopefully we can start to change that in the near future. But I thought I'd give a shout out to the 2000 team. That was the first win, September 29th, 2000. We won a 22-21 game at Lavaca, and then a couple years ago here. We had a pretty salty team, and they come over here. We won that game 44-13. So those were the 2 wins I wanted to mention. Shout out to those teams, and just wanted to ask you what we expect from Lavaca. I know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they started out 5-0 last year, ended up 5-6, so things sort of turned on them. Yeah. They did get the meat of their schedule at the back half of their season, but from what I know, they've got a pretty good team coming back.
Yeah, so they struggled with injuries at the end of the season last year. Quarterback got hurt. Arguably, you could argue he was the 2nd best athlete in the conference, 3rd best athlete behind Dax and Brandon Scott.
Wow.
And Maddox Noel. But he graduated. They won't have him back. But they had a kid, I think he was maybe a sophomore, maybe a junior last year, I'm not sure, come in and play quarterback behind him, who played pretty well. So he got a lot of snaps at the end of the season, so he's not coming in new. He's played a lot. They'll be athletic on the outside, and they're a 3A club that I think will make the playoffs in that conference.
Yeah, I think
as it compete for a playoff spot. So they're going to be physical and athletic on the outside.
Yeah, no doubt. I completely agree with you. I got to take another step back. This is first week for us, so I'm a little rusty here. But I did want to ask you a little bit about the non-conference schedule. We lost the game, so we had to go find one. And we come back with Mansfield, Lavaca, and Danville. But you got Berryville on the schedule. That's a team we've never played before. I believe that's a 4A school.
Yep.
How'd that come about?
Back in May, I knew Decatur had dropped off our schedule. They canceled their entire program back in February, I believe. So I scrambled around looking for teams to play, and was really struggling to find them. Honestly, I'd kind of given up on finding one. Just thought we'd take 2 weeks off and work ourselves. And then Berryville called me. Their AD, I guess they're in between coaches at the time, and they needed a game. We needed a game. Thought it'd be good for us. Have a week off after that, and then we'd be able to go into our conference slate. I know playing teams like Mansfield and Lavaca, they can turn into losses sometimes, but it really helps come conference time playing those bigger athletic teams. Get used to that physicality, and it helps in the long run.
Yeah. Me and Jono spent a lot of time talking about that last year, and we're sort of in the same boat this year. Very young team, playing up in classification a little bit, and we've seen it played our favor as we got into Danville. And looking back, reviewing last season, I was reminded that we lost a couple really winnable games last year, mixed in with some of the wins that we had. So it always pays off in the end. I like the schedule a lot. Plus, like I mentioned last year, always like seeing old conference opponents, back on schedule. It's just fun for some of us that have been around for a while. Jono, we got some. We got junior high, so we wanted to get this in. Junior high will not be playing on Labor Day. They're going to be playing on Tuesday of next week. Right. So is that who's that against?
That's Danville.
That's at Danville.
At Danville.
So at Danville, not Monday of next week, but Tuesday. Want to make sure everybody knew that. And Jono, you got any of the upcoming events?
Got our junior high, senior high volleyball in action tomorrow at Waldron, starting at 4 o'clock. We have football on Friday night. We have some of our cross-country runners that'll be in action Saturday at the Shiloh Saints Invitational in Springdale. I think there's at least one runner, maybe a couple, going to make that weekend trip up there. Then we're into the Labor Day holiday. Of course, it's not a holiday for these guys. They'll be after it. And then we come back with junior high football on Tuesday, start next week.
All right.
Yeah, I got one thing.
Yeah.
So this weekend we have our third annual Rattler Classic golf tournament at Cherokee Creek in Boonville. Well, I think it's the Boonville Golf Course now. Starting at 10 o'clock. Still got time to sign up. We're taking 36 teams, 2-man scramble. Carts are available at the clubhouse. First come, first serve. 120 per team. I think we got 20 teams signed up right now. Trying to get 16 more. Hopefully, got a couple days to do it. So I'd love to see everybody come out and support. It goes to our supplemental uniform fund. So it helps us buy uniforms for our teams and our rotation. Uniforms are expensive, and so we're trying to get some money into that program so our teams can have new up-to-date uniforms every couple of years.
Yeah, awesome. So definitely come out. I think there's still opportunity to sponsor some holes, maybe.
Yep.
So you don't, if you can't come out and you want to help, reach out to one of us, anybody at the school. They can point you in the right direction for where to go to help out. But yeah, very important, and it directly supports the team. So appreciate you guys this week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll come back next week and hit you with episode 2.